future old pogoer of America. That's what my shirt says. I got a video response.
We aren't just two point of views. America isn't just two economic plans. I'm gonna guess around 15–20% of the popular vote will go towards the Libertarian Party, Gary Johnson. I don't think Gary Johnson's gonna win, but we should let him in the debates. We should let his point of view be heard. You also mentioned how they're very different directions, Romney and Obama. They aren't different directions at all. Romney, Obama, they still want to keep the wars, keep the Fed going, keep the IRS. I just wanted to point this out to you, Dan. Peace.
Thank you, djStens, for your non-zombie, disagreeing without being disagreeable, calm, rational, thoughtful response. I'll try to extend that same courtesy to you here. Okay, but first, I have to get this off my chest. Your notion that Obama and Romney are just two sides of the same coin is wrong. You hear this every election, people saying, oh, it doesn't matter who I vote for, the two major party candidates are exactly the same, but it's just not true. I mean, for the point of illustration, like if McCain had won, there would not have been the stimulus, we'd still be at war in Iraq. Had Al Gore won instead of Bush, we probably wouldn't have invaded Iraq in the first place. Saddam Hussein might still be in power. I'm not saying that any of these alternate universes would be better or worse than what actually happened, but what I am saying is the world would be a very different place had the elections turned out differently. The same is true for Obama and Romney, and the point of this video is not to highlight their differences, so I'm not going to get into it, but the world under Romney would be very, very different than the world under Obama. This does matter. The notion that it doesn't is just frustrating. As for your main point, though, you're right. There are more than just two ideologies in America, and the idea that two-party platforms can adequately convey the wants, needs, and desires of over 300 million Americans leaves quite a bit to be desired, and I think it's a large part of the reason that so many Americans are so turned off by politics. But I feel like you're looking for someone to just decree that, this next election, we will have 3 options, we will have more options. That's not the way that it works. If you want a big change like that, that doesn't come from the top down. It has to happen organically. And actually, it has happened organically before. Back in 1992, there was a guy named Ross Perot in the debates, along with Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr. That's because he made his case, and it successfully resonated with a large swath of America. He was actually leading the polls for a little while. That, very simply, has not been the case for Gary Johnson. You said in your video that you thought he'd probably get 15–20% of the national vote, and that's pretty amazingly and implausibly ambitious. The last poll that I could find with Gary Johnson in it had him at 5.3% nationally. That was last month. I don't think that there's any plausible way for him to see a 10 to 15 percentage point jump in the just over 2 months we have left. The vibe that I get from Gary Johnson supporters is that they don't think it's fair that just 2 candidates get to have the debate spotlight. But I disagree. I think that it is actually entirely fair. Presidential contests are, as much as anything, about testing a candidate's ability to lead and organize a large group of people. You don't get to organize people through the debates. You get to the debates through organizing a large group of people, and Gary Johnson just hasn't done that. Someday, I as much as anyone, hope that a third party or independent candidate is able to use new media tools to organize a following large enough to win the presidency. But that's not this election. If that was going to happen, that candidate would already exist and be polling much, much higher than Gary Johnson is. To add Gary Johnson to the debates would distract from the debate that we are already having as a country, the critically important economic and healthcare and foreign policy debate that we're already having. And I think that if you distract from that, then you open up the potential to make mistakes. I think I don't think it's just a bad idea. I think it's almost a dangerous idea. What do you think? And I'm talking to everyone. I'm not just talking to djStens. Leave a comment or a video response or anything really. Just leave something.